Good morning, guys. Josh here at JK Farm. Moving the cows this morning, and I've been for about 4 years now practicing rotational grazing, moving the cows every day. There's a learning curve to it. I visited Polyface and met with Joe Salatin and watched his methods. I've also been out to Greg Judy's and I've watched a lot of his videos as well. And it seems like it's always hard for me to take enough but leave enough. But I just want to show you guys real quick what I've found this morning, and I'm going to adjust a little bit. I'm pretty sure I'm going to start moving these cows twice a day. They did a really good job at trampling a lot on the ground to cover the soil. This field in particular has been really bare, sparse, I would say. Looks good from the road, but when you walk through it, it's just pretty thin. But man, it's come a long way by practicing these methods. I just moving cows across and letting it rest. It rested all winter. We're still struggling to figure out the right winter management. You've got Salatin that puts his in a shed all winter on deep bedding, and then you've got Greg Judy that continues to move out on pasture. Well, we're a small farm. We're only 42 acres, a few acres next door, so we don't have a ton of ground. And in the winter time, it seems like we're in southern Illinois, and it seems like the grass wants to start growing, the fescue, and every time it starts growing, the cows want to nip it off. And it just seems like when all the pastures get a break for the winter, we do better here. However, we don't have a system set up yet to feed in. So last year we ended up putting the cows in a sacrificial lot per se and feeding hay, and it just made a mess. I've got windrows of manure now to compost, but I'm gonna wait until next year to put them to spread that, so that any junk in there can compost, seeds. Just the manure became pretty anaerobic, so we're gonna chip some logs and take some bedding out of the barn, clean the hayloft. Any carbon that we can add to that pile, we're gonna try to do so. So let me get this thing turned around here. There we go. So this is what it looks like after one night. These cows were moved about 5:30 yesterday evening, and they were only given, I mean, you can see from the taller stuff here where the wire was over to here. Very narrow, but probably about 300 feet long. But there's only 8 cows in here and 4 smaller calves, and then the rest of our yearlings are just weaned and cut, so they're separate until we know that they're no longer fertile. They can join the herd. But anyways, this to me looks perfect. In the beginning I thought, oh man, you know, we're wasting a lot of feed. But man, now when I see a area grazed down, it makes me almost sick, because I'm like, if it rains, we're not gonna hold any moisture. But this here, I mean, look at how thick this is to get down to soil. In dividing these paddocks or sections into more narrow strips instead of more of a square, the cows go back and forth in the paddock, and they really put a lot of this on the ground. And I'm just excited because when we get a rain, that should really hold that water and shade the soil to keep it moist. You obviously get areas that look more, I don't know if you can see that, but look more grazed. but this field has a lot of white clover in it, and naturally when they eat those areas, it looks like they take everything. But you can't get it perfect, at least I can't. But I'll show you, this is where they were, like I said, yesterday evening, put here. We're traveling, we're going north in strips like this, and then to the south we've come across, and we're watering down there at the bottom the next day or so. That's also where they have shade, so I let them track back over. But what I've been doing is, when I put in a cross section, I leave the one from the previous day and just open up a small area at one end. The cows are smart enough to go down and come around, and I just feel like it keeps them from taking another bite out of this section a lot better than if I were to take that wire down completely. Because like I said, they still got to get back to water, and they need shade, and we don't have portable shade yet, but our fields aren't very big and the woods is always close. So we're going to do some clearing along the woods edges and put a 1 wire, high tensile wire, that separates all the pasture from the woods, rather than right now I just have really cheap poly wire carving out these pastures and separating them from the woods. It's important not to let the cattle be in the woods. I let them go in there, really bad storms. I'll let them go in there maybe on the final move for a day before they go to the next farm across the road here. But really, for the forest to reestablish itself, you know, the squirrels are constantly planting trees, and those little sprouts are tasteful and tender, and they don't stand a chance when the cattle come through. So we've done a lot better job over the last couple years of keeping the cattle out of the woods. I love it when they're in the woods because, man, it really cleans it up. It's easy to hunt. You can see really well in there. And around here we have a lot of bush honeysuckle taking over multiple rows on the field edges, but mostly bush honeysuckle in the woods. And man, the cattle have just, my woods is so much cleaner than all of my neighbors from the cattle. So I do like that. So it's trying to do the right thing, trying to do what works, and learning every day. This is where they just came into. So this is what it's looking like. This edge over here gets a lot of shade, so it's a lot thinner. It's amazing, they've been in here just as long as I've been on this video, and look how trampled this is already. They're not wasting this, guys. They're trampling on the ground, putting litter on the ground. Anything that dies on the ground, the earthworms can eat. But look at this. I mean, you can see how tall this is. It's over the cattle's back. But this is just beautiful. This field was constantly grazed before I got it, and then when I started it was constantly grazed because I didn't know better. But this is some really nice forage now. Got red clover, white clover, fescue, orchard grass, bluegrass, just whatever will grow. A lot of weeds, but the idea is to get this thick enough where the good grasses and legumes shade out the weeds. So I'll walk down and show you real quick. The first couple days, because like I said, the far edge of this field is pretty sad, really. It's seems like it's hard, doesn't grow good, but I think if we leave more litter, we'll slowly fix that. I've never put any, I back up. The first couple years I owned the farm, just learning, I did spread some fertilizer, but the effects of that are long gone, and I haven't done any since. And I could probably use some lime, but I still haven't, just because of the budget. See, this is leaving them for a whole day on one of these strips, and I just think there's too much gone. We're not going to hold rain water. It's going to run right off this slope and right into the creek in the woods there. So we're going to try moving twice a day. I did give them a smaller paddock than a bigger paddock, and I didn't notice a whole lot of difference. A lot less evenly traveled on a larger, so we're going to stick to the skinnier strips and strip graze those and move them, like I said, twice a day and see what kind of results we got. That's what's fun about this, just experiment. I'm not an expert. I've learned a lot, but I still love to learn and love to try to push myself to be better. But I think we're on the right track here. So until next time, guys, I appreciate you watching the video. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe. Trying to grow a channel, educate other farmers. We need everyone we can get on board with doing this, and if you can't do it, support a farmer that is doing it. We sell meat, beef, pork, chicken, eggs. jkfarmstore.com. You can find us. We're just local right now, Illinois, Missouri, but like I said, if you can do this, do it, try it. If not, support a farmer in your area that's doing this, and we will slowly together make the planet a better, healthier place. I appreciate you watching. Have a blessed day. Bye.